back in the Z06. So we finished the hot side in the last video, so it's time to get going on the cold side. So we got two cold side pipes to bring up to the intercooler, and then it's one single charge pipe over. So we got some new parts here. This is your eBay special 2.5-inch cold side, silicone clamps, or silicone couplers, T-bolt clamps. And the main event, which I've already kind of taped up to protect it, is this Treadstone intercooler. It's a 3.5-inch core, 25 inches by, I believe, 9 inches. So that should fit nicely up in the front of the car here. So I'm gonna get this thing on the ground, check some ground clearance, see what kind of room we'll have with the pipes, and I'll go from there. All right, so the first thing we did here is got the car on the ground, both wheels on it, obviously, because what I want to do is check what kind of clearance we're going to have with some of the cold side piping up in the fender here. So I let the car settle. So this is basically ride height here, and we got to see, can't see anything on video of course, but back here where we're going to tuck this in, how much room we're going to have with the cold side pipes coming out of the turbo, up through the wheel well, and then down over there to the intercooler. So I'm going to get a few pipes just in there, test fit, and see what kind of space we have, see if I can get an idea of what we're doing. And then we'll get it back up in the air and actually start fabricating the cold side. So. All right, so the plan on this side is to come out of the turbo, kind of up behind through here, cut a hole here in the wheel well, then come up through here and down and then over into the intercooler. Now, the goal here is to hopefully cut up as little of the car as possible. Woo! Perfect! Alright, so here's what we got so far. I got the charge pipe coming out of the turbo, back through there, through this hole in the fender well. It's going to be tucked up nice in here, and then it's going to go over to the intercooler. So the next thing I need to do is get this intercooler mounted so that I know where I need to build the charge pipe to over here. Unfortunately, what I did on my last C6 and what we're going to end up doing on this one, and what most forced induction guys do on these cars to get any good flow to the intercooler, is they have to notch the cratch bar. So let's make some really, really small, precise cuts on this thing. right, so we got the crash bar notched. So I got the intercooler mocked up here using a jack. So we can see how we're gonna get a lot better flow in this area here. A lot of more density in the intercooler fins are gonna be opened up there. But anyways, more importantly, now I know basically where I need to get here so that I can finish the intercooler piping on that side, and then I'm get started on the driver's side as well. So I think what we're going to do next is continue and finish the intercooler piping on the passenger side, and also we're going to have to make some brackets here for the intercooler mount. We need to modify those down there. They're not at the right angle, so we'll probably cut those off, make our own, and get this intercooler mounted up for good. Making good progress on the cold side. So you can see we got one continuous pipe here all the way through the wheel well. Gonna put a coupler right there. Not psyched about it because that's actually where we need the most clearance, near the tire there. But I think it's gonna be all right. I'm gonna drive it around like that and see if and where it rubs. But I just had the car in the ground, was bouncing around on it. See what kind of clearance we got. Looks like we got pretty good clearance everywhere, so I think we're gonna be all right, but realistically, I think the only way to test it is gonna be to drive on it. So I got it tucked in up here as far as I possibly can. It's just jammed up, basically touching the wheel well liner, really not wanting to cut it up here at any, if I don't have to. So passenger side, cold side is done. Got some more aluminum tubing, cold side pipe. Gonna have to replicate it here on the passenger side, and it's gonna be a little more tricky over here because you can see this little bump out here is not on the driver or the passenger side. This is unique to the driver's side. You can actually see how tight it is. This is a little cutout area for the tire when it's turned that way, and the reason that's here is for this coolant overflow tank. Kind of nudges right in there. See, this that bump out for the tire we were just talking about. So I might have to get into these areas right here, trim that out, because we're really going to need to tuck this up more than that. So some of this is going to have to go. So we're going to get the cut in here. I think this is going to come up out of the turbo there, come into the wheel well through somewhere around here, go over through here, tuck down, and then same thing on the other side over into the intercooler. So let's get this done so we can call the cold side tacked up and done. well, here's where we're at with the driver's side, cold side. Basically spent all day yesterday getting to this point. This area here was a nightmare. Because we have that coolant tank up here, we had to actually come in to the headlight housing here. So the headlight is going to sit right in here, and we're just going to snake this back here. You can see I had to do a bunch of custom pie cuts to get the clearance perfectly right and tucked way in against the headlight bucket there. Made a big mess. I'm covered in fiberglass, and so that was basically all day yesterday. Really frustrating and slow, but again, like this whole project, finally got the fitment where I want. We're going to have a connection there right in the upper wheel well, just so we can get this pipe in and out. And so yeah, I'm about to weld it up, and then it should be, wish I had that piece around here, but it should be a relatively straightforward down and over from there. So I think we're through the hard part. So I'm going to get these all cleaned up, tacked in, welded together, and just finish up this cold side so we can do the charge piping from the intercooler to the throttle body, which should be pretty easy. So let's get this last hard part done. All right, well that's going to do it for the cold side. All that's left really to do is finish weld, which I'll do once we have the the final motor in the car. So cold side's completely tacked together. So I just need finish weld and put on a blow-off flange, which is going to go on that main charge pipe. I've already taken it apart now, gotten ready to move on to the next thing, which is the fuel system. So next video is going to be the fuel system. It's a complete level 4 return fuel system, good for 1500 horsepower. So it should be a pretty in-depth install. So stay tuned for the next video. See you guys there.